Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Tonight we're back here with the kill count, and tonight, well, careful of the cabin in the woods, because we got the first Evil Dead. Yeah, this is the Evil Dead from 1981. So, yeah, we're starting a franchise, and, well, won't be ready for some, weird stuff, to say the least. Deadites, Ash Williams, Chainsaw Hands. Well, Chainsaw, I'm pretty sure it's next chapter, but who knows. Anywho, let's start where it all began with this Cabin in the Woods movie. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's go!
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the
James.
victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at The Evil
The
Dead,
Evil Dead,
released in 1981 by writer-director Sam Raimi as his first feature-length film. Looking back, it's kind of crazy that the dude who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy started his career with this movie. Raimi and star/co-producer Bruce Campbell were only 20 and 21 years old when they made The Evil Dead for under $500,000, a budget raised almost entirely by their friends and family. The movie was also crewed by friends and family, who drove down from the Detroit area, where Raimi and Campbell, and yours truly, are from, to a remote cabin in rural Tennessee to make this insane film. The filming experience itself was notoriously difficult, with the exhausted actors and crew members constantly cold and frequently injured. There was no plumbing, no electricity, and to be entirely honest, Sam Raimi kind of abused his set to get an authentic terror experience on film. One small case in point, after Bruce Campbell sprained his ankle early on, Raimi spent the rest of production poking it with a stick. Why? I don't know. Art? Whatever he did, Raimi wound up with a film that is truly unique and a wonder to behold. It's low budget and amateur, yeah, but it's also got such a sick and twisted tone and over-the-top schlocky gore effects that it gained the attention of Stephen King, whose positive review helped secure New Line Cinema as a distributor. The Evil Dead quickly became a cult favorite and would eventually spawn a media franchise that includes 2 sequels by Raimi himself, a 2013 remake, and a 3-season TV show on Starz called Ash vs. Evil Dead. The thing about Evil Dead,
movie,
though, is that when
The Evil Dead Rises
series,
I'm not
Bruce
kidding.
Campbell's iconic character Ash Williams, they're not usually thinking of the first movie. While the sequels and TV show have a strong comedic element to them, this first film is pretty much straightforward horror, and Ash isn't much more than a generic final guy. The possessed friends he has to fight, beings known as Deadites, look and sound pretty freaking scary. But they're still products of a low budget, and in truth, the entire damn movie kinda looks homespun and cheap. But it still has markings of directorial acumen from Raimi, and should still be appreciated for what it was able to accomplish on such a small budget. All I'm saying is, if this is your first exposure to these movies, maybe don't judge the franchise by the original. It really finds its own voice in part 2. Oh, and one final note, I'm sorry, the kills in this movie are messy, and I don't just mean from a gore standpoint, though that's sure as fuck true too. What I mean is, people become possessed, they become unpossessed, they get dismembered but are still wiggling around. Basically, it's a little bit difficult to count, but I'll be including possessions that never revert, as well as whenever Deadites are put down for good. That sound okay? Great, let's finally get to the kills.
Yep, this is gonna be interesting to say the least. Gets pretty bloody. Let's, there is one thing with the tree that I won't say any more of, because frankly, pretty gross. Pretty gross. You'll see, if you know this movie, you know what I mean. Anyway, well, might as well just buckle in and start the Evil Dead franchise with The Evil Dead of 1981. Sorry.
The movie begins with a first-person shot rushing through the forest, which was accomplished in a variety of ways. In this first one, Raimi hung off a raft with the camera attached to his arm, and later he would just have 2 dudes run through the woods with a camera on a 2x4. On a road near this evil spirit POV is a car full of 5 young adults. Among them are hero Ashley Williams, played by a 21-year-old Bruce Campbell, and his very strong eyebrow. They're taking that classic 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 to a cabin in the woods that the other dude, Scotty, was able to rent for cheap. So cheap, in fact, it's possible it's a real shithole.
Well, it might not be that bad.
No.
Probably
Actually,
worse.
It might be kind of nice.
Yeah.
You're right, let's try to be optimistic here. They go across a rickety old bridge that literally falls apart as they cross it, and then it's just a short drive through some trees to get there. I love how the trees scrape against the camera. It's almost foreshadowing their evil actions later. In no time at all, they finally reach their destination, this prototypical spooky cabin that served as the most direct influence for the titular shack of Cabin in the Woods. But neither the rough exterior nor the creepy banging porch swing deters Scotty from letting himself in. There's not much to the place, aside from your standard array of creepy shack supplies, but the rest of the group still unpacks and gets ready for a night in the woods. Nighttime comes, and Ash's sister Cheryl is practicing her still life skills when the clock she's drawing suddenly stops. Then she hears some creepy whispers outside trying to recruit her to an unknown cause. Her hand suddenly takes on a life of its own and draws a rhombus? Or wait, no, that's SpongeBob. Haha, way to bring it around town, Cheryl. Bring it around town. Later, while the gang is eating dinner together, a cellar door in the living room flies open on its own. Fun fact, there wasn't an actual cellar in the cabin, so the crew had to literally saw into the floor and dig an 8-foot hole in the earth to fake it. Scotty volunteers to go down.
I hope no one owned this cabin before they found it, because frankly, if the owner found out about this, pretty sure Sam Raimi and the crew would have gotten sued. I think. Are they even allowed to do that? Just saying. Anyway, moving along.
Down there to see what's going on, but why not send the Spartan, y'all? Not like anything of value would be lost. I'm just kidding. My sister and dad went to state. I got nothing but love for our little sibling to the north. But still go blue! When he takes too long to come back up, Ash decides to head down after him. Ash and Scotty find a cool hangout spot.
The hell's an
eyes poster and a shotgun.
What if it's gonna cover that
very irresponsibly aims right at Ash.
Hey!
Some firearm safety. I don't even know guns and I know not to do that. They also find a giant Kandarian dagger with a hilt that looks like it's in anguish.
This kind of looks like your old girlfriend.
Bro.
I never understood jokes about people's exes. Like, you dated them. What does it say about you if you dated someone who looks like a screaming skeleton? The coolest thing they find, though, is a gross-looking book with some wicked illustrations inside. Oh, and check it out. This book can even do self-portraits. That's talent. Upstairs, they all gather around and play a tape that they found in the cellar. On it, an archaeologist talks about exploring the ruins of Kandar, where he found the Naturan de Manto, the Sumerian edition of the Book of the Dead.
The book is bound in human flesh and inked in human blood.
Dude says he took that fleshy book back to this very cabin to study. When the archaeologist starts reciting an incantation, the woods outside begin to smoke and come alive. Cheryl gets real upset, and apparently so do the frickin' woods, since a tree comes through the window and ends this little session of phonographic creepypasta. In a blurry, sentimental scene, Ash and his Spartan girlfriend Linda exchange many close-ups of their eyes before he takes out a jewelry box for her. Inside is a magnifying glass necklace.
Ash, how sweet of you.
Yes, now I can finally study ants and stuff. Linda likes the way it looks, and they start making out in front of the window. Perfect for the peeping evil spirit outside looking to get an eyeful. It goes around the house and eventually looks in on Cheryl, who hears that same voice saying, "Join us again." This causes her to very unwisely step outside to investigate, and that's going to take us into the film's most notorious and controversial sequence. By all accounts, this scene is very well made from a filmmaking perspective. I love the giant looming moon as Cheryl heads into the woods, the smoky forest floor while she calls out asking who's there, and eventually the first-person shots of the evil force knocking down trees as it rushes through the woods to attack her. It's also pretty cool how the vines and branches of the forest come alive and wrap all around Cheryl's limbs. It's absolutely horrifying. But as they start to strip away the clothes from her body, you realize that the scene's about to be much darker than you may have expected at first. This infamous tree rape scene kind of throws me off, because it doesn't feel quite as exploitative as the Rob Zombie Halloween scene, and it's not sickly played for laughs like the shower scene in Jack Frost. Sam Raimi originally wrote this scene to terrify the audience and show that these not-so-happy campers were now at the complete mercy of the evil spirit in the woods. Sure, yeah, mission accomplished there, but it's also filmed in a somewhat titillating manner, complete with erotic moaning and a couple of shots of Cheryl's exposed breast, and the sexual nature of the whole thing is pretty incongruous with the rest of the movie. For what it's worth, Sam Raimi has said that he
guess they wanted to show like this evil spirit's not fucking around, but
he chalks it up to how young he was at the time.
Regret putting it in? I do.
Yeah, I probably would too.
I think it was unnecessarily gratuitous and a little too brutal, and finally because people were offended in a way that my goal is not to offend people. It is to entertain,
well, you kind of did.
Scare.
Sorry.
I think my judgment was a little wrong at that time.
And although actress Ellen Sandweiss has since more or less come to terms with the scene, apparently she wasn't informed of exactly how far it would go.
Really, I had no idea they were going to do that. I mean, obviously I knew that the legs were going to spread open and that the vines were going to crawl up, but that final with the stick was all post-production. I had no idea until I saw it, and I went,
yikes. Ultimately, it's probably an unnecessary addition to the movie, but it definitely got audiences talking and made them realize that what they were watching was something they had never seen before. And that's all I'll say about it. Cheryl gets back to...
Yeah, let's be real. If the evil spirit's willing to do that, you know you're pretty screwed. Like, seriously. They're willing to do that, you don't know what they're capable of. Who else would... Sorry. You know what I mean, right? Anyway,
to the cabin, and although she's sadly unable to save herself by finding the right key for the door, she is saved at the last minute by her brother Ash, who lets her into the cabin before the first-person evil spirit can catch up to her. Inside, Cheryl tries to tell the others what happened.
Did something in the woods do this to you?
No, it was the woods themselves.
But despite the tree scratches all over her body, they just think she's being hysterical. Ash eventually relents and agrees to drive Cheryl back into town, but they run into some auto trouble when the car refuses to start.
I know it's not going to start. It's not going to let us leave.
Ash is all like, oh really, when the car finally does start, but Cheryl gets to say, yeah really, when they get to that bridge they crossed on their way in, since it's now completely torn up and destroyed. I love how it looks like a claw coming out of the ground there. And even cooler, they tore up an actual bridge that was slated for demolition. The city let them do that. Also, I just want to share this shot as another example of Sam Raimi's talents as a director. This movie is cheap, but the camera work is phenomenal. Back at the cabin, Ash listens to more of the archaeologist's recording, where he says that his wife became possessed by a Kandarian demon, and that the only way to put an end to the possession was through dismemberment. Hope you guys have an axe somewhere. Oh, you do? Well, that's good. Keep that thing around. Scotty's girlfriend Shelly plays a game with Linda, where Linda tries to guess the cards that Shelly is holding. Linda sucks at this magic trick, but someone else in the room ends up being a regular pen and/or teller.
8 of spades, 2 spades, jack of diamonds, jack of clubs.
Whoa, dog.
She possessed.
We get our first possession to put on the kill count, because, spoiler, Cheryl's soul ain't coming back from this.
You will die like the others before you. One by one, we will take you.
Her demon voice says that it's been woken up from a long sleep, and like, I get pissed when someone wakes me up early too, but I don't go around stabbing people in the ankle with pencils and shit. Damn, make sure y'all don't let Linda drive after this. She's gonna have a lead foot for show. The possessed Cheryl starts tossing people around the room, and is all ready to stab Ash with a pencil too, when Scotty comes to the rescue with an axe handle to the head and a flashy kick that sends her into the cellar, and gives her an entirely new makeup design. Wow, her look changed drastically in an instant.
No kidding.
After a short struggle, he manages to get her down there, all of her, fingers included, and he chains the door shut as she tries to free herself from below. An inky cloud passes over the moon outside, while Ash tucks Linda in tight. Don't let the Deadite bite. Ash and Scotty promise Shelly that everything will be okay in the morning, but she rightly points out that Cheryl may be too far gone for a little sunlight to disinfect her.
For God's sake, what happened to her eyes?
Dude, the Deadites are fucking terrifying. Scotty tells Shelly
that's not good.
To get some sleep, but when she goes to her room, the evil spirit attacks her through the window. By the way, that's real glass they're crashing through, not candy glass or anything, just actual super fucking sharp glass. Next thing you know, Shelly's missing from her room, and Scotty only finds her after she jumps out and attacks him, scratching up his face with her nasty ass nails. Shelly is now a Deadite too, so we can add her human self to the kill count as she rides Scotty around. And this is why it don't separate. A Deadite death grip. He manages to get her off of him, but as Cheryl cheers from the cellar, Shelly knocks Bruce Campbell into an excellent stunt fall and tries to get Scotty to join the Deadite gang.
Join us!
He puts up a fight, so Shelly grabs the comically oversized Kandarian dagger and tries to stab him with it. But Scotty unsheathes his own blade and saves himself by cutting her hand at the wrist with it. And hold off there, Ash. He doesn't need your help at all, because Deadite Shelly finishes the job herself by biting into her wrist and severing her own damn hand off. Scotty grabs the dagger off the ground and stabs Shelly in the back with it, her detached hand still clutching the hilt. Hey Ash, that thing still look like your ex when it starts to smoke and spit out blood? Actually, don't answer that.
Yeah,
There's
don't
a lot
answer
of
that.
loud demonic screaming until Shelly finally falls all the way to the ground. You'd think that would be it, but as Cheryl keeps the subterranean pep rally going, Shelly gets back up and starts stalking towards Scotty and Ash once more.
Campbell,
Scotty finally puts an end to the possessed form of his girlfriend by hacking her to pieces in a scene so messy and gory that even the camera gets awashed with a waterfall of blood. For anyone who's ever wanted the heroes of a horror movie to chop the villain up into tiny pieces,
there you
go. And you know what? You're right. It does seem to be pretty effective. The boys take Shelly's body outside, wrapped in a sheet, and bury it quickly. Damn, they even got a cross for the grave and everything. Scotty tells Ash that he's had it, he wants to leave, and when Ash tries to argue that Linda can't move with her leg all penciled up, Scotty don't give a fuck.
What are you, crazy?
Look, I'm getting out. I don't care what happens to her.
Yep, Scotty cares naughty, so he takes off through the woods, leaving Ash alone with his gleefully possessed sister. You want to let the rest of us in on the joke, Cheryl? He checks in on Linda, only to find her pencil wound going all stop motion crazy. Because don't look now, but Linda's becoming Deadite as well.
Possessed.
And after Scotty gets back from his brief foray through the forest, we see just how creepy the possessed Linda is. Scotty's face is all torn up, and he's barely able to retain consciousness, even with Ash trying to smack some sense into him. And it doesn't help that Cheryl is mocking him from the underground peanut gallery.
I don't want to die. You're not gonna leave me here, are you? Are you, Ash?
Scotty starts bleeding from his mouth, but still manages to tell Ash that he needs to kill Linda. Ash gets the shotgun and says his prayers.
God forgive me, Linda.
But then, all of a sudden, Linda's back to normal and asking him to help her. And as they hold each other in a tender embrace, there's more good news from down below.
Ashley? Ash, help me. Let me out of here. I'm all right now.
But as you'll come to see, this is just standard Deadite mindfuckery, and Ash's favorite ladies are still possessed enough to grab at his face through the floorboards and threaten him in sing-songy ways.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you.
Instead of killing Linda, Ash just drags her outside and leaves her giggling on the ground, which is less of a long-term solution and more like how Fred Flintstone treats his saber-toothed tiger cat. But you know what, Ash, you do you. When he goes back inside and tries to give Scotty some water, he finds that Scotty has died from his wounds. Dun dun dun. The last thing Scotty had said was something about the trees not letting them leave, so I'll go ahead and say that the cause of death was trees. You know, the old Arbor Day special. Just like the Flintstones cat, Linda is back inside the cabin in no time, and she stabs Ash with a Kandarian dagger that I guess must taste delicious. Dagger blade. Damn, look at Linda go. She's blind with glee trying to stab her boyfriend to death. No, really, she's like actually blind right now. Actress Betsy Baker, and all the other actors for that matter, couldn't see anything with the hard contact lenses they had to wear for their Deadite makeup. Again, not a fun set to work on. Ash eventually overpowers Linda and knocks her down over Scott's body, impaling her through the back with the dagger. Yeah, Ash, you did that. We get some more gross milky vomit, but to super ensure that Linda won't come back anymore, Ash takes her out to the shed and straps her down to a workbench with a bunch of chains. He grabs the chainsaw that will become much more prominent in the rest of the series, but before he gets groovy with it, he has a change of heart when he sees Linda's magnifying glass necklace. Oh, how she loved to read fine print. He takes her back outside and digs a proper grave for her, then puts her in the earth and covers her body with dirt. But when he goes to grab that magnifying glass necklace, she Margaret Whites him. Oh no! Oh, Linda does not look like a morning person, huh? She scratches the shit out of Ash's leg like a cat who doesn't know how much it hurts, and in response, Ash grabs this ridiculously large wooden beam that apparently doesn't weigh anything and beats the living crap out of her, or Deadite crap out of her. Sorry, whatever. He's knocked back to the ground, but when Linda goes to leap at him, he grabs a shovel and frickin' decapitates her with it. Nice! I'll put Deadite Linda on the count with this, since it's the last time we see her in this movie. Like, yeah, her head is still wriggling around there, and even her body is kinda trying to grind up on Ash right now, but he leaves them outside, and her unliving parts never attack him again. So, all things considered, this Deadite's as good as dead to me. Ash heads back to the cabin, where inside he discovers some very bad news. Yeah, that's not good. The newly freed Cheryl attacks him from outside a window, but only manages to get a shotgun blast to the face for her troubles. Ain't no thing though, she's still kicking just fine. Man, the Cheryl Deadite is nasty. Keep that nasty thing out of the house, Ash. He goes into the cellar to get more ammo for his shotgun, but a blood-leaking pipe breaks right in his face, covering him in it. And don't worry, there's still more to spend from this movie's blood budget. Budget? Because at this point, it's coming out the outlets, coming out the walls, and filling up light bulbs. Man, the light bulb thing was awesome. A projector starts playing on its own, and there's blood there too, giving another cool image as it casts a red-stained picture onto Ash's face. He finally gets the shells and reloads his boomstick, then heads back upstairs, determined to escape this night alive. Too bad it's impossible to tell what time it is when the damn clock is all possessed too. Jeez, is anything in this cabin free of demonic influence? Even the camera angles are upside down and wacky. In fact, Sam Raimi has a blast with his camera in this final sequence, pushing in on Ash all cool and doing a tracking shot from above where the ceiling beams provide fun sound effects. Things get even crazier when Ash looks in the mirror and reaches into it. Talk about a reflecting pool. Lincoln, eat your heart out. Ash is at his wit's end now, but he's able to ground himself with a little magnifying glass necklace. God damn, that thing is way more critical to this movie than I ever remembered it being. Of course, standing with your back against the door is pretty stupid, Ash. You know some Deadite hands about to bust through it just like that.
Like so! Hi, Linda!
He shoots through the hole and lands a gory hit on the Cheryl Deadite, but while he's barricading the door, Scotty wakes up from his eternal slumber all Deadited up. Ash throws some stuff at him, which almost knocks the Book of the Dead into the fireplace, and that cracks the case wide open. Because of the burning book, Scotty's too hotty and starts to smoke. The Deadites have a physical connection to the Book of the Dead. Cheryl breaks in and knocks Ash to the ground, then starts beating him with a fire poker as he tries to make his way to the fireplace, but he's able to use that ever-important necklace to lasso the Necronomicon and drag it to his hands. He tosses it into the fire, and that finally stops Cheryl Deadite dead-eyed in her tracks. Ash watches from the floor as both the Cheryl and Scotty Deadites begin to disintegrate in a crazy-looking stop-motion sequence that looks
before
half
this.
like something out of Planet Earth and half like Gumby's fever dream. Haha, even the book's getting in on this nasty shit? Yeah, lick that book eyeball. This awesome process that ends up killing the final two Deadites was done by Tom Sullivan, who designed all the Deadite makeup as well as the Book of the Dead and the Kandarian dagger. Also, fun fact, I got to meet Tom Sullivan at a convention in Michigan when I was just 15 years old. Oh, look at my porcupine head. And the marching band varsity jacket. See, there's hope for everyone. The nasty sequence continues with, what are those grits? Are those grits coming out of Scotty's sleeve there? And a couple of other scares from the dying Deadites. First, a couple of giant bloody hands burst forth from both their torsos, and then Cheryl falls to the ground with a gnarly head burst that covers Ash's face in blood. And have some bugs for the hell of it too. Why not? No, you know what?
Yeah, you're good. We're good. We're good.
Thanks. It's finally morning, and everything appears to be okay for Ashley Williams. The clock is back in working order, and he still has that beautiful magnifying glass necklace. It's a brand new day. Ash has no remorse, and his legs are shaky, but he knows the course. He sets out to finally leave these godforsaken woods, but unfortunately for him, the movie ends with one more evil spirit first-person POV shot that was accomplished by mounting a camera to a bike that Sam Raimi rode from outside the woods and through the entire frickin' cabin to come out the front door and hit Ash right in the face. Between all those possessions and dismemberments, how's a guy supposed to count the kills around here? Well,
let's find out.
Got the numbers. Join us. Join us.
Join us.
Join us. Join us. Join us.
I didn't get the chainsaw.
There were 8 deaths and/or possessions in The Evil Dead. 3 women got possessed while living, 1 dude died a human, and all 4 of their possessed forms wound up dead in some manner. How's a quad pie sound, motherfuckers?
Yeah, that's
With a runtime of 85 minutes, we wound up with a death or possession on average every 10.63 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Deadite Shelley, who got hacked all to pieces by Scotty. Fun fact, actress Teresa Tilley was underneath the floorboards with her head and hand out, while other people provided her other limbs. Fun stuff. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Scotty, who died on the couch from off-screen wounds mid-hydration. Don't you waste that water, brah. There are thirsty kids in California. And that's it. The Evil Dead came out in 1981 and was considered so graphic that Sam Raimi was actually brought up on obscenity charges in the UK. He went to court and everything. He eventually made a better funded sequel a few years later, and we'll look at that movie, Evil Dead 2, next week. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I got a while before then, but there you go. Hope you enjoyed that kill count. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, like, subscribe for more. See ya.